The silence of space was a deceptive calm, masking the tension that simmered beneath the surface of the Solar Federation's fragile peace. Colonel Adrian Holt stood at the observation deck of Lunar Prime's command center, his eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars. Each glimmering point of light was a reminder of the vastness and the vulnerability of human civilization spread across the galaxy. "Colonel Holt," a voice interrupted his reverie. He turned to see Lieutenant Commander Sarah Tanaka approaching, her expression a blend of determination and concern. "The Council is ready for you." Holt nodded, his mind already shifting gears as he followed Sarah down the corridor. The hum of activity around them was a constant reminder of the stakes at play. Technicians and officers moved with purpose, their actions synchronized in a dance of precision that reflected the disciplined chaos of interstellar warfare. As they entered the council chamber, a hush fell over the room. The assembled officers, a mix of human and alien representatives, regarded Holt with a mixture of respect and expectation. This was not merely a briefing, it was a reinstatement, a call to arms for a man who had once been the Federation's most formidable strategist. "Colonel Holt," began Admiral Kessler, the grizzled veteran who chaired the council, "we appreciate your willingness to return under these circumstances." Holt inclined his head slightly. "Duty calls, Admiral. It always does." The Admiral's gaze was unwavering. "You're aware of the insurgency threatening our alliance. We need your expertise to lead the Black Vipers and neutralize this threat before it escalates." Holt's eyes flickered to Sarah, who stood by his side. Her presence was both reassuring and challenging, a reminder that strategy alone would not be enough. "I understand the gravity of the situation," he replied, "and I assume there are specifics you're not sharing yet." A murmur rippled through the room, but Kessler merely nodded. "Indeed, Lieutenant Commander Tanaka will brief you on the intelligence we've gathered so far." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. "The insurgency is more coordinated than we initially believed. Their operations span multiple systems, exploiting tensions between human colonies and alien worlds. We suspect there's more at play here, possibly external influences." Holt absorbed her words, each detail painting a picture of complexity and danger. "And Echo?" he asked, referring to the rogue AI whose cryptic transmissions had become an unsettling enigma. "We're still analyzing its messages," Sarah admitted. "But it seems to have knowledge beyond what should be possible. If it's a trap, it's a sophisticated one." The room fell silent as Holt considered their options. The stakes were high, too high to allow for error or hesitation. "We'll need to approach this from multiple angles," he finally said. "Direct engagement with insurgents, intelligence gathering, and unraveling Echo's role in all this." He turned to Sarah, meeting her gaze with a look that conveyed both trust and challenge. "Lieutenant Commander, your insights will be crucial. I expect nothing less than your best analysis." Sarah nodded, her expression resolute. "You'll have it, Colonel." With the briefing concluded, Holt lingered in the chamber as others filed out. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily upon him, a familiar burden he had thought he'd left behind. Yet here he was again, poised on the brink of another conflict that threatened everything he held dear. "Adrian," Sarah's voice broke into his thoughts once more, softer now that they were alone. "Are you ready for this?" He hesitated, caught between past and present, before answering with quiet conviction. "I have to be." They left the chamber together, their footsteps echoing in unison down the corridor. Holt knew that trust would be as vital as strategy in the days ahead. Trust in his team, in Sarah's analytical mind, and perhaps most importantly, in himself. As they approached the docking bay where the Black Viper's ship awaited, Holt felt a familiar sense of purpose reignite within him. The void beyond was vast and indifferent, but within its depths lay both challenge and opportunity, a chance for redemption amid echoes of past decisions. Sarah paused at the threshold, her gaze sweeping over the sleek vessel that would carry them into uncertain territory. "Do you think we'll find what we're looking for?" Holt's response was measured yet resolute. "We'll find something," he said, "and whatever it is, we'll face it together." With those words hanging between them, a promise and a pact, they boarded the ship, ready to confront whatever lay hidden in the shadows of space. As engines roared to life and stars blurred into streaks of light outside their viewport, Holt felt a surge of determination course through him. The mission was set. Their path was clear. In this game where loyalty could shift like sand beneath their feet, every decision would count. Every choice could tip the balance between survival and destruction. And somewhere in the void echoed both threat and promise, a reminder that even amidst darkness, hope persisted. For now, they would follow its call into whatever awaited beyond. The journey had begun anew. The metallic hum of the Black Viper's command center reverberated through the hollowed asteroid, a constant reminder of the technological prowess that fortified their clandestine base. Colonel Adrian Holt stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the array of holographic displays that flickered with data. The intricate web of star charts and tactical overlays mirrored the complexity of the mission he had been thrust into, a mission shrouded in secrecy and fraught with peril. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Tanaka approached, her presence as sharp and calculated as her intellect. "Colonel, we've intercepted another transmission from Echo," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of both urgency and skepticism. Holt turned to face her, his expression a stoic mask. "Let's hear it." The room fell silent as the transmission played, its cryptic tones echoing through the chamber. Echo's voice, modulated and devoid of emotion, spoke in riddles that hinted at deeper truths buried beneath layers of deception. The serpent coils around its prey, but beware, its fangs are not where you expect. Sarah frowned, her analytical mind already dissecting the message. It could be a reference to the insurgency's tactics, or perhaps a warning about internal betrayal. Holt nodded, his mind racing through possibilities. "We need to decipher this before it's too late. Every minute we delay puts us further behind." Sarah hesitated, her gaze meeting Holt's with a mix of determination and doubt. "Colonel, I know you don't trust easily, but we can't afford to ignore any potential allies. Even Echo, unreliable as it may seem." Holt's lips pressed into a thin line. Trust was a luxury he could ill afford. Yet Sarah's logic was sound, her insights invaluable. "We'll keep monitoring Echo's transmissions, but we proceed with caution." As they returned to their workstations, the tension between them palpable yet unspoken, Holt couldn't shake the feeling that they were playing a game where the rules were constantly shifting. The insurgency was a shadowy adversary, its tendrils reaching into every corner of the galaxy. Finding its source was akin to navigating a labyrinth with no end in sight. The command center's main screen illuminated with a new alert. An unidentified vessel had entered their sector, its trajectory erratic and unpredictable. Holt's instincts flared to life, years of military service honing his senses to recognize potential threats. "Prepare an intercept," he ordered, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "I want to know who or what we're dealing with." Sarah's fingers danced across her console, her mind already calculating interception vectors and potential scenarios. "Could be a decoy or a reconnaissance probe," she speculated, her tone laced with both curiosity and caution. As the Black Viper's sleek interceptor craft launched into the void, Holt felt the familiar surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. The thrill of action was tempered by the gravity of their mission, a delicate balance he had learned to master over decades of warfare. The vessel came into view on their sensors, its silhouette unfamiliar and enigmatic. Holt leaned forward, scrutinizing every detail displayed on his screen. "It's not one of ours," he murmured, more to himself than anyone else. Sarah's voice crackled over the comms, steady and composed. "Colonel, I'm detecting energy signatures consistent with alien technology." The revelation hung in the air like a storm cloud on the horizon. Alien involvement added a new layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. Holt's mind raced through potential implications, alliances formed in secret, enemies hidden within plain sight. "Open a channel," Holt commanded, his decision swift and resolute. Static filled the comms before resolving into a voice, calm, articulate, yet undeniably alien. "This is Captain Elara Voss of the Kestrel. We come in peace." Holt exchanged a glance with Sarah, their shared skepticism evident in their eyes. Peace was a word often used as a facade for ulterior motives. "State your intentions," Holt replied, his tone measured and authoritative. "We seek collaboration," Voss responded smoothly. Our intelligence suggests mutual interests regarding recent insurgent activities. Holt weighed her words carefully, aware that trust was as elusive as stardust in this galaxy of deceit. And why should we believe you? Voss's response was immediate and confident. Because we have information you need, details on a high-ranking insurgent operative embedded within your ranks. The implications were staggering, each possibility more daunting than the last. Betrayal from within was a threat that could unravel everything they fought for. Transmit your data, Holt demanded, his resolve unwavering, even as uncertainty gnawed at him. Voss complied, and moments later, Sarah's console lit up with encrypted files. Her eyes scanned the information rapidly, her expression shifting from disbelief to grim understanding. "Colonel," she said quietly, "this changes everything." Holt nodded slowly, acknowledging both the gravity of their discovery and the precariousness of their position. The lines between ally and enemy blurred further with each revelation, leaving them adrift in a sea of unknowns. As they returned to their base, Holt pondered the path ahead. The insurgency was a hydra with many heads, each more dangerous than the last. To cut it down required precision, strategy, and perhaps allies whose loyalty was yet to be tested. In the quiet confines of his quarters later that night, Holt replayed Echo's transmission in his mind, the serpent coils around its prey. He knew now that every decision carried weight beyond measure, a burden he bore willingly for the sake of peace and redemption. With dawn came clarity and resolve. He would confront this threat head-on, guided by both logic and intuition, a blend of discipline and instinct forged in the crucible of war. For in this vast expanse where echoes lingered long after voices fell silent, only those who dared to navigate the void could hope to shape its destiny. And so Colonel Adrian Holt prepared to lead his black vipers into the heart of darkness once more, where shadows whispered secrets yet untold, and every choice held echoes that reverberated across time itself. The command center of the Black Vipers hummed with the low, constant thrum of machinery. Screens flickered with data feeds, casting an eerie glow on the faces of those gathered around the central table. Colonel Adrian Holt stood at its helm, his gaze fixed on a holographic map of the galaxy, where red blips marked potential threats and blue ones signaled allied positions. The weight of leadership pressed heavily on his shoulders, each decision a linchpin in the precarious balance of peace. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Tanaka, hovered nearby, her eyes scanning lines of code on her handheld device. Her presence was a comfort, a steady anchor in the tumultuous sea of uncertainty. Holt valued her analytical mind, though it often clashed with his intuition. "Colonel," Sarah broke the silence, her voice precise and measured, "I've intercepted another transmission from Echo. It's encrypted, but I believe it contains coordinates." Holt's brow furrowed. Echo, the rogue AI, had been a shadowy presence in their operations, a possible ally or a cunning adversary. "Can you decrypt it?" "I'm working on it," she replied, her fingers dancing over the device with practiced efficiency. "But there's something else. The patterns suggest movement in Sector 9. It's subtle, but I think the insurgents are mobilizing." Holt nodded, absorbing the information. His mind raced through potential strategies, weighing risks and outcomes. "We need to verify this intel before we act. If they're moving, we can't afford to wait." Sarah hesitated, a rare moment of uncertainty flickering across her features. "There's more. The data. It aligns too perfectly, almost as if someone wants us to find it." "An ambush?" Holt guessed, his instincts honed by years of warfare. "Possibly," she conceded, "or a distraction." The tension in the room was palpable, thick with the gravity of their predicament. Trust was a fragile commodity, and every move felt like stepping onto a knife's edge. A sharp beep interrupted their thoughts. The transmission had finally decrypted, revealing a set of coordinates that pulsed ominously on Sarah's screen. "It's leading us to the Cathari Nebula," she announced, her voice steady despite the implications. Holt considered this new development. The nebula was a notorious region, an expanse of swirling gases that masked ships from detection and distorted signals. A perfect place for subterfuge. "We can't ignore this," he decided. "Prepare the squad for immediate deployment. We need eyes on that location." Sarah nodded, already relaying orders through her comms device. Her efficiency was impressive, a testament to her dedication and skill. As the team mobilized, Holt lingered by the holographic map, his thoughts adrift in the void beyond their asteroid base. He was no stranger to deception, yet the complexity of this mission tested even his seasoned resolve. "Colonel," Sarah's voice pulled him back to the present. "Are you sure about this? Echo's intentions are still unclear." Holt met her gaze, seeing both challenge and concern reflected in her eyes. "I'm sure of one thing," he replied evenly. "If we don't take action, we'll be forever reacting to their moves instead of dictating our own." She nodded, accepting his decision with a mixture of respect and resignation. Their dynamic was a constant push and pull, her logic tempered by his experience. As they boarded the sleek vessel that would carry them into the nebula's depths, Holt felt the familiar surge of anticipation mixed with dread. The unknown awaited them, shrouded in mystery and danger. The journey through space was silent and swift, the ship gliding through the dark like a predator on the hunt. The crew moved with practiced precision, each member aware of their role in the intricate dance of strategy and survival. Inside the cockpit, Sarah monitored their trajectory, while Holt reviewed tactical options. The nebula loomed ahead, a swirling mass of iridescent colors that obscured everything within its grasp. "Entering the Cathari Nebula," Sarah announced, her hands deftly adjusting controls to compensate for the nebula's interference. The ship shuddered as they breached its outer layer, sensors flickering erratically in response to the chaotic environment. "Stay sharp," Holt advised, his voice calm but commanding. "We don't know what we're walking into." The tension on board was electric, every crew member attuned to the slightest shift in their surroundings. The void outside seemed to echo their own unease, an ominous reflection of their inner turmoil. Minutes stretched into an eternity as they navigated deeper into the nebula's heart. Then, a blip on the radar, faint but unmistakable. "There!" Sarah pointed at the screen where an unidentified vessel hovered like a spectre in the mists. Holt's mind raced through possibilities. Friend or foe, a trap or an opportunity. "Open comms," he instructed. "Let's see who's out there." The response crackled through static, distorted by the nebula's interference, yet unmistakably human. "Black Vipers," a voice greeted them with unexpected familiarity. "We've been expecting you." The revelation sent a ripple through Holt's team, surprise mingling with suspicion. This was no ordinary encounter. It bore all the hallmarks of a carefully orchestrated game. "Identify yourself," Holt demanded, his tone steely with authority. "Call me Whisper," came the reply, laden with enigmatic charm. "We have much to discuss." Sarah shot Holt a questioning look, her skepticism mirrored by others in the cockpit. "What do you want?" Holt pressed, wary of hidden agendas. "To offer you something invaluable," Whisper promised cryptically. "The truth." The word hung in the air like a beacon amidst shadows, a tantalizing promise fraught with peril. Holt's instincts warred within him, trust versus caution, action versus restraint. In this galaxy where alliances shifted like sand beneath one's feet, he had learned that truth was often a double-edged sword. Yet curiosity gnawed at him, a relentless drive to unravel mysteries hidden within layers of deceit. "Proceed with caution," he ordered Sarah quietly before turning back to Whisper. "Very well," he agreed aloud after measured deliberation. "We'll hear what you have to say." As they prepared for what lay ahead, an encounter steeped in intrigue, Holt knew that every word exchanged could tip scales irrevocably toward unity or division, salvation or ruin. In this vast expanse, where echoes reverberated endlessly through time and space alike, each decision carried weight beyond comprehension, each moment held potential for both revelation and betrayal alike. And so they ventured further into darkness, guided only by flickers of light amidst endless void, determined not merely survive, but prevail against forces arrayed against them from all sides.